of out of sorts right now.
All right, we've started the recording. So we're here with our friend Kayla. We got
Kayla
to join us today. We've been chatting. We got to have a whole long conversation before we started.
So we know each other pretty good by now.
So this week's topic is miscarriage, and how postpartum depression can still affect us during miscarriage. It's real. It's something that shouldn't be brushed to the side just because people make the comment, that you didn't have a baby or that it was so short-lived, or any of those comments that people make to try and make it better, but it doesn't. So we just want to, we're here to say that it matters. Yes.
Yeah. I almost feel like the risk of having postpartum is even higher with miscarriage, because you have the hormones up and down, like the big surge of hormones, but you don't have the little sweetheart in your arms. And I feel like that it's like, we should be doing a lot of videos on miscarriages and infertility, because the hormone stuff is there, everything's there, and you just don't have the prize in your arms. And so I think it's just way, way touchier.
Yeah. There's like an added element to it where, people think it's not as big of a deal, whereas it is. It's even bigger because you're grieving that loss.
Yeah.
People don't realize how much of a loss it is.
Right? Absolutely.
Kayla was going to share some experiences with us. The last chat we had, talked about how you had experienced four different miscarriages.
Yeah, I've had 4 different ones all at different points in time in pregnancy, up to 20 weeks. And each one is hard and different. And I feel like the grieving process, even just through those 4, even just with it still being me and the same hormones, the same everything, the whole situation and the whole grieving process was different each time. And I think that it's important to know that it's okay to grieve and get through that depression differently. No matter what your situation is, every person is different and every situation is different, even within the same person.
Yeah. I think you're so right. It isn't just a set, stamped situation. It's just so different with every human is different. So they're going to process grief in a different way.
Yeah. It's interesting, just the difference in situations. I know with my first miscarriage, I was at 16 weeks along, and I just kind of had to go with my gut and follow what I felt that I needed at that point in time. And I couldn't question myself of, okay, well, later on down the road, I could go, well, should I have done this different, or should I have done it different? Should I have done this instead, or whatever? And I've had to look back and go, you know what? No, I did exactly what I needed, when I needed, and how I needed. And I have to just accept that, whether it was the way that I would deal with it now, because I have that hindsight 2020 vision of, oh, well, I probably could have handled this better if I had done this, but I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I learned along the way to deal with the next miscarriages that I had.
It's almost like instinctively us women know kind of what we need if we'll just go with what we're feeling, right? There's so many instincts.
Yeah, I agree. I
think it's the pressure I think the thing that we are trying to make people aware of is the fact that the pressures in society and social media of women just getting over it instead of working through it. And so it is different with each woman, but we do have to, and with each pregnancy and with each miscarriage, like you mentioned, it's a different deal each time.
Yeah, it is. They're different emotions, and you're at different points in your life at different times, and the things that you know are different. The outside circumstances are different, and there's no right or wrong way to get through it. You just try and get through and survive, I feel like, is,
It is survival mode. You just have to get through certain parts.
Yeah, you had mentioned before, Kayla, of you just kind of tuned out at first with your miscarriage, with your 20-week miscarriage, right? You just tuned out, and really, truly, that's kind of a survival thing. Our bodies know when you need to just kind of tune out of it, and then it picked it up again, right? The grief and the process. So
yeah. I shared my story with you guys earlier, but for anybody who wasn't here with us, I can share again. I went in on a Thursday for our 20-week ultrasound appointment, and we were going in to find out the gender, and I went in by myself, and I was gonna just come back home and tell my kids and my family what the gender was, and we were gonna have a fun celebration after. And I went in, and I got down on the table, and she started the ultrasound tech. She got things all set up and started, and I've seen enough ultrasounds, and I have seen what happens with a miscarriage with an ultrasound. This was not my first one. This was my fourth at this point. And so she got the ultrasound hooked up, and I looked at the screen, and I just knew. I said, there's no heartbeat. And she turned the monitor away from my face, and I had to process a minute, and I said, I know what this means. I know that there's no heartbeat. I want to be able to watch something. I want to be able to enjoy seeing this baby for the last time while I can. On this ultrasound, I want to be able to enjoy it. And she said, okay, if you're sure. And I said, yeah. So she turned the screen back towards me so that I could lay there and watch. And we measured and just knew it was gone. And I was there by myself, and I then had to make the phone call to my husband, and I said, I need you to come to me. And so he was able to have my father-in-law, who was at our house at the time, stay with the kids, and my husband came down to me, and I just needed sorry I needed to be with him so that I could process and figure things out. So the party that we had planned was very different, in fact, than what we brought home in reality. And I was doing a family dinner with some of my family, and we were all going out to dinner. We were doing a girls' night, and I sent a message to them and said, just so you know, this is what happened today, but I still need to go out to dinner. And I knew that was what I needed. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I needed my family right then, even if we were going out in public and having dinner. So we went to the restaurant, and we just continued with girls' night, and there were elements of it that obviously were very sad. But that's what we did. And then I was induced the next day and delivered. And then the day after, my daughter was baptized into the church. So it was just quite the roller coaster weekend. So we had family in town, and it was hard having people in my house and having things not as our normal routine and how to function. So my coping mechanism ended up just being pulling out books and reading. And that was what I did to escape. Was I just pulled out some books and said, I am just going to read and read and read till I could kind of pull myself out of, I don't know, needing the escape, I guess.
Yeah. I think our bodies know when it's not the opportune time. It's not the right time, not the best time. to feel all those emotions. And so that's an amazing coping blessing that we've had, is to be able to cope and be able to push away those feelings for a time if it's something we can't process quite yet. But yeah, I think that books are a great option.
Yeah.
Many other options that are worse.
Yeah.
That is true.
Kayla, I liked how you just kind of took charge and called and said, I need you now here to meet me here, because had you gotten in the vehicle to just go and find your husband and be with your family, that could have been really dangerous. And I really love how you just said, okay, this is what needs to happen. You went with your instincts, and even though it would seem kind of odd maybe to somebody to think, oh, she's just carrying on, in a way, that's actually, that's really neat that you would just be able to go, okay, I was looking forward to this time, and maybe it needs to be with other people. Maybe I need to be with other people right now. I love it. You're a mighty woman.
Thank you.
Because I messed up with the recording of our other one, then I'm kind of running late for another appointment. And so I'm going to have to say goodbye, but I'm going to watch this when you guys are done. And oh my goodness, I hope this time we're able to record it. And thanks, Kayla, for
Oh, thank
visiting
you.
with us. All right, I'll be glad to watch it.
All right. Bye.
So one of the things that we did with the other failed recording that we didn't get done, so I'm so sad, but we can talk again about, just whenever you were talking, your overall theme just seemed to be choose to be happy. And so can you tell us more about those experiences?
Absolutely. So after I got through my reading phase, I had to choose to function, and I had to choose to feel things. I noticed after a while I was just kind of numb. I wasn't feeling a whole lot of anything, good or bad. It just was, I was just there. I noticed that I wasn't overly happy. I wasn't overly sad. It just was kind of this numb. I just was tired, and I was tired of the emotional roller coaster. So I feel like I just somehow was able to just, I don't know, was able, that's probably the wrong way. I somehow turned off all of my emotions and just was functioning. I just was numb. And so once I realized that, I said, okay, I have to change this. I don't know how, but I need to change this. And so I had to find things to be excited about. And around the same time, it was November, and that's when everybody does their give thanks posts on Facebook and stuff. And I said, okay, I need to do this. So I said, for 2 weeks, I'm going to post something that I'm grateful for every day. And, it started as something simple as, I am grateful for the smelly soap that I have that smells good every time I wash my hands, that it's like, oh, I like that smell. Okay, I'm going to actually choose to be happy about smelling that smell. And it was just simple, everyday little things that, okay, I just have to find something. And so then I felt like I was accountable. I had to find something that day to be able to post. And some days I had to dig a lot deeper in finding something, because by the end of the day, I'm going, okay, what am I grateful for? I don't even know. And I would have to really think hard and try to dig and find something. And I always was able to find something different, something new. And a lot of times it was just something really, really simple, like scented soap. And so I had to find stuff. And then by the end of 2 weeks, I started noticing a difference. And I went, you know what? I need to continue this, because it's making a difference. It's making me focus on the happy things, the things that I enjoy, the little things that add up to more of, I can be happy with these things and I enjoy them. So one of the things that I did for myself, when I said, okay, I need to start feeling things one way or the other, I need to feel. And so I love glitter. Glitter makes me smile. So I did my nails with glitter nail polish and said, I am just going to do this just because I want to see the glitter and I want to smile. And it made my kids smile because I had fun, sparkly, pretty nails. And every time I saw them, I just was able to smile. And it was just something little that I had to choose to find to be happy about. And I think that having that focus made a big difference of I have to choose to do this. It's not going to happen by itself. It's not easy, so let's find something little. And I just had to push to find something to be happy about.
Right. And it's not all at once. It's the big change doesn't happen all at once. It's those little steps.
Yeah.
Steps, and some, digging deeper can mean feels like steps backwards sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's, you just gotta keep moving forward, little tiny steps at a time. Yeah, I agree. And that's great that you brought your kids into it. Can you tell us a little bit about how they coped with the loss as well?
Yes, I have some. I have some that were little and didn't really truly understand what was happening. Because I have 5 with this last loss. I have 5 kids, and some of them are a lot more emotionally involved and more sensitive, and they were really struggling of okay, because pregnancies are hard on me and on my body, so they have to pick up a lot of my slack. And so all the things that I kept feeling was I just went through all of this for nothing. I just went through this hard pregnancy and I don't get anything out of it. And it was hard.
Yeah.
But I thought I tried keeping those thoughts more to myself or between my husband and I that I could explain that to him and kind of get through it. But I was catching that some of my children were saying those things, one in particular. And she's like, we just went through all of this. I just went through all of this for nothing. And I don't know if she heard me say it or if that was her feeling the same way. But I said, okay, we need to process this together because the feelings are the same. Their grieving process is the same as what I'm dealing with. And so we would cry together. We'd cuddle up on the couch and cry. But then we would talk about how much God loves us and he wants to help us. And we would pray. And we went through the grieving process together of, okay, it's okay to feel sad. Let's also try and find things to be happy about so that we're not always sad. Let's find things that we can be happy for and happy about and grieve together and go through this together so that hopefully one day they'll be able to get through the grieving process. We all have to. We all have to deal with death in our lives at some point. So hopefully this will be helpful. And I have 4 girls. So chances are at least one of them is going to have to deal with miscarriage or infertility or loss or any of those things. And I hope that them learning it while they're little can help them deal with it better when they're bigger.
Yeah, that's such an amazing gift to be able to give your kids. It's hard. It's something hard that we've had to go through, but that being able to teach them how to feel those feelings and not hide or push them away is like an enormous gift. I think I praise you so
Thanks.
much for being an example, because that just creates healthy minds that helps create a generation that knows how to cope with feelings. I think that's something that's we're dealing with right now, is that a lot of these youth don't know how to cope with feelings and grief.
Yeah.
Things. So that's an awesome gift to be able to give
I
them.
I hope it helps them, that there's more of a purpose to this than just the loss. We'll take
Right.
what we can and learn and hope that it can help others and share with others and see what we can do.
Yeah, that's I fully believe that when we experience hard things, and if we can, like I mentioned this to Janet a couple videos ago, that we can use our grief to either um, use it to have compassion for others, or it can bring us down into depression. And so there's kind of a fork in the road almost, where you can decide, like, are you going to use what you've experienced to help others, or are you just going to let it drag you down and hide with it and, keep it down in depression? So I think that's so awesome when people use their experiences to help others.
I think that's one of the main things that we have tried to share with the kids too, that, okay, this is hard for us, but chances are there's other people going through this same thing. So let's see if we can help others get through it too, so that we can.
And we
share.
talked about processing, even just talking to someone, and how that helps with being able to organize our own thoughts.
That was something that I had to do. I had plenty of friends that I was able to talk to and talk through, but there were some things that I just didn't even understand. So being able to try to explain it to somebody else just wasn't working. So there were many nights that I cried myself to sleep just praying and explaining, okay, this is what I'm feeling. This is what's going on. Just talking to my Heavenly Father, telling God, okay, this is what's going on. This is what happened today. This is what I'm feeling. I don't understand any of it. I know that you do, but I don't get it. So you're going to have to help me, because I can't do this by myself. I can't do this. I have a support system, but I know that I need more than just the support system here. I also need prayers and help from heaven.
Heavenly
But
help.
yes, and just being able to explain it and say, okay, saying out loud, this is what I'm feeling, this is what's going on. I know it's all crazy and nonsense, but it helped me to sort out, okay, what exactly am I feeling? Because there were times where I would say, oh, I'm feeling this way. And then as soon as I heard it, I went, no, that's not quite right. That's not exactly what I'm feeling. I'm feeling something different. It's similar. And so then I would be able to think it through a little bit more and reflect on my actual emotions and what was happening, and be able to then process them.
Yeah. There's something about using our words. It's amazing.
Mhm.
And
It's
you may be able to help friends and stuff too after you've experienced miscarriage.
Yeah. I've had quite a few that have come to me of, okay, I'm in the hospital. Nobody knows. This is what's happening. Can you help me? Just share your story, or what options are the doctors going to come in with, or what did you do and how did you cope with it? And so I've been able to just share my various stories, and what happened with my first one was different than what happened with this most recent one. And I've had in between stuff too. So I said, it's going to be different for every single person. And I can share my experience, but you do what your gut is telling you to do. You're going to know better than anybody else. So you go with what you need, and you grieve the way that you need to, and process the way that you need to, because I'm different than you. And even just in my situations, the person I was when I lost the first baby is different than the person I am today. And the life lessons that I have learned and the experiences that I've had have changed my situation, so that when I was going through the situation, it's almost the same situation and it's still me, but the way that I needed to heal was very different than the first time.
So interesting. Yeah. I even think about times like thinking back when we were children, like that was a totally different person than what I am today, or, as I get older. And it's amazing how we're just different all through the stages of life. That's so just deep and sometimes mind boggling to think about. But yeah, it's interesting how people are just experiencing different things at different times and different ways. You could probably even have the exact same experience and still have to cope with it differently because you've grown and matured. And awesome. Kayla, thank you so much for visiting with me and And we hope anybody that wants to make comments down below, you can share your stories. You can make just comments on what we've talked about today. And just let us know if you need help. We want to help. So, and we'll have more videos to come. Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.